Dear learners, welcome to EPG Pathshala. My name is Manoj Semwal and I am working as an assistant professor at University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. I would be taking the module on gin. Under the paper Food and Beverage Service. After completing this module, the students will be able to learn definition of gin, second, production techniques of gin, third, types of gin, fourth one, production method of Dutch gin, fifth, production method of London dry gin, sixth, service of gin, and the last one, they'll be able to identify the different brands of gin. Gin is a spirit which is distilled from cereals and essentially flavored with juniper, though a number of other flavoring agents are also used in the many versions all over the world. England, Holland, Canada and the United States of America are some well-known gin producing countries. Gin derived its name from the word Genever, a French word, and Juniper, a Dutch word, both meaning juniper berries. Gin was first developed as a herbal medicine for curing kidney ailments, and over the period of time it becomes one of the most sought after alcoholic beverage. Marcus Silvius, a Dutch professor of medicine, is accredited for the invention of gin. It becomes very popular in England, Scotland and Ireland after the occupation of these countries by Dutch Republic. British soldiers used to get Dutch courage while fighting the battle after having the gin. Now I will discuss about the different production techniques of gin. The three basic production techniques of gin are explained. First one, pot distilled gin, the traditional style of making spirits by distilling a fermented wort of cereals like barley, corn, rye, etc. in a pot still. It produces a neutral and tasteless spirit of 68% alcohol by volume, and after second distillation with the addition of botanicals, it produces a strength of 76% alcohol by volume. The resulting spirit is then aged in wood barrels for achieving the desired flavor, which reminds you of whiskey and old style of Dutch gin. Second one, distilled in coffee still. Angus Coffey, the Irish distiller, invented the modern coffee still, or we can call it continuous still, and got it patented in the year 1830, after which it was also known as patent still. This still yields a neutral spirit of a very high proof, approximately 96% ABV, from a fermented mash derived from agricultural origin. The highly intense spirit is then again distilled in traditional pot still with botanicals and other flavorings, suspended in the gin basket and placed in the head of the pot, still so that vapors erupting from the still can absorb the aroma of plant material and results in a lighter gin compared to the gin produced in pot still. Third, compound gin. These types of gin are not regarded highly as distilled gin. In this type of gin, the neutral spirit is simply flavored with botanicals and other essence without distillation. Now I will discuss the types of gin. Based on the production method, the gin is categorized in two main types. First one, Dutch gin or Holland gin. Second, London dry gin. Dear students, let's now discuss the production of Dutch gin or Holland gin. Dutch gin is also known as Holland gin, is the traditional drink of Netherlands. It's a heavy gin produced in traditional process, also called as snaps. The first step in the production of Dutch gin is making of mash. It is produced from the equal measure of rye, malted barley and corn. All of these are mashed and then cooked so that fermentation process can take place. The next step in production is fermentation. During the fermentation process, a measured quantity of yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, is introduced to wort, a liquid rich in carbohydrate for the yeast to feed on and induce the process of fermentation. During the process, the yeast changes the sugar content in wort into ethanol. When the fermentation process stops, the fermented liquid is called as wash, which is further distilled to obtain the desired spirit. After fermentation, we will discuss the next step, that is distillation process. The fermented wash is further distilled in a traditional pot still. The resultant liquid from the first distillation is low in alcohol, about 50 to 55% alcohol by volume, known as malt wine. The malt wine is then further redistilled in a pot still at 96% alcohol by volume, with the addition of juniper berries, coriander seeds and other botanicals to produce full-bodied gin with a very strong and distinctive flavor of juniper berries and malty aroma. The gin is stored in glass-lined container so that it does not take the aroma and color from the wood. The addition of botanicals, however, is controlled in Dutch gin as compared to England or United States. The gin produced in this style is not considered suitable for cocktail making because of the dominant flavors of juniper berries and other ingredients. So the best way to enjoy Holland gin is straight and chilled. Dear learners, now we will discuss the production of London dry gin. As the name suggests, London dry gin. It doesn't need to be produced in London, but it is a way of processing ethyl alcohol. Today the word has also been taken up by the distillers from other countries as well. London dry gin differs from Holland or Dutch gin in method by which it is produced. The first step in manufacturing of London dry gin is making of mash. London dry gin is made from adding different cereals in formula, that is 75% corn, 15% malted barley and other grains at 10%. These grains are cooked together in water to make a sugary liquid which is good enough for yeast to start fermentation. The next step in London dry gin production is fermentation. Now, during the fermentation, yeast is added in measured amount and starts the fermentation process and converts the sugar content in the liquid into ethanol. After fermentation, the next step is distillation. During the distillation process, the resulting fermented liquid, or we can call it wort, is then distilled in continuous still to acquire a neutral spirit and then redistilled in pot still with the juniper berries to get the distinct flavor. The principal flavor should always be juniper berries. The gin should be colorless, so it is stored in glass-lined containers. Dear learners, now we will learn about the different varieties of gin apart from London gin and Dutch gin. So the first one I am going to discuss is Plymouth gin. Plymouth is the established gin of the Royal British Navy. It comes from the region of Plymouth in England. It is much drier than London dry gin and have more earthy flavor. It comes in 41.2% alcohol by volume of the alcoholic strength. The next is sloe gin. Sloe gin is a red colored spirit which is produced by soaking sloe, a fruit which is a relative to plums, in a neutral spirit. Sloe gin need to be on the sweeter side to ensure it is made from the fruit. It must have an alcoholic content of 25% alcohol by volume to be called as sloe gin, according to the European Union. The next is lemon and orange gin. It is produced by infusing the citrus fruit peel in the gin for some time, approximately 8 to 10 weeks. Then the next is cold compounded gin. The very ordinary and low cost gin is produced this way, in which a neutral spirit is mixed with laboratory made essence of juniper berries for giving it the desired flavor. Now let's discuss the service procedure of gin. The first step in service of gin is the server should take the order from the customer. She must always carry a bar order ticket book along with them. The order should always be written on the bar order ticket. She must be very attentive while taking the order. The name of the brand and the quantity, that is small or large, along with mixers, if any, soda or tonic water, coke, orange juices, lemonade, etc. If the drink ordered by the guest is not available, the guest must be informed politely by the server and suggest the best alternative. Once the complete order is written down, the server must repeat the order for confirming with the guest, and the copy of the bar order ticket is to be given to the bar for collecting the drink. Now, if the guest is sitting on the counter, the drink needs to be poured directly into the glass by the bartender in full view of the guest and served straight or with lots of ice or with the mixes and placed on a coaster. Now, another step, when served straight, the server need to pour the gin in the appropriate glass and carry it to the guest table on a salver with a coaster on a side. After that, he should position the coaster at the right hand side of the guest. He should serve the drink on the coaster and announce the brand of drink. Ensure the hotel logo must be facing towards the guest. Now another step, when served on the rocks, the server must pour the gin brand in a shot glass as per the ordered quantity. Carry the shot glass filled with gin, an old-fashioned glass, ice bucket filled with ice tongs, coaster to the guest table, placed on a salver. Then, while standing on the right hand side of the guest, place first the coaster on the table. Keep empty old-fashioned glass on the coaster. Now bring the ice bucket close to the glass and ask for the number of ice cubes guest wants in his or her glass. Place the cubes accordingly in the glass. Now pour the gin from the shot glass over the ice in the glass while announcing the name of the brand ordered. When served with mixers or additions, decant the ordered quantity of gin in a shot glass. Then pour the ordered mix like lemonade, tonic water, ginger ale, soda in a decanter. Then carry the shot glass filled with gin in highball glass or Collins glass, coaster, ice bucket with ice and tongue on a salver to the guest table. Place the coaster on the table from the right hand side of the guest. Now place the highball glass on the coaster. Decant the gin from the shot glass into the highball glass. Announce the brand of gin poured. Now bring the ice bucket closer to the glass on table. Check for cubes if required. Place exact number asked by the guest inside the glass. If ice is not required, keep the ice bucket back on the salver. Then pour the mixer in the glass and keep the remainder of the mixer on the table. That is gin from different countries. First one is American gin. The American gin is distilled at a very high proof, which means a very neutral spirit and less of congeners, which makes it much lighter than the London dry gin. The methods of production are distilled or compounded. Distillation process is carried out in the similar manner as that of London dry gin. In compounded gin, first a very neutral spirit at a high proof is made, and then extracts and oils of juniper and botanicals are mixed to form gin of a very good excellence. The next one is the French gin. The first French gin was produced by Maison Ferrand in Cognac region of France with the brand name called Citadel. The bottles are very decorative and the names of the botanicals which are used in producing it are mentioned on it. Citadel is distilled in the traditional Charente pot still, which is used in Cognac region. It is a very traditional still. After distillation, the gin is stored in cognac cask for the required flavor. The next one is the Swedish gin. Sweden is known for producing some of the best organic gin. They are also predominantly flavored with junipers, and they also have a taste of fresh hand-peeled lemon with other botanicals like cassia, black pepper and vanilla. It contains that oaky flavor and finished at 40% alcohol by volume. The next one is Japanese gin. Japanese gin is produced from the neutral spirit derived from the rice spirit base, same as London dry gin. It has a blend of juniper with the local Japanese botanicals like yuzu hinoki woods, chips, gyokuro tea and green sansho. The alcoholic strength is kept at 45.7% alcohol by volume. Now the next one is Russian gin. Though Russia is known for producing best vodka worldwide, but it also produces one of the finest gin having a strong cardamom and spice taste along with juniper berries. It is produced from a neutral spirit of wheat base and sold at 40% alcohol by volume. The next one is Spanish gin. Earlier the gin was imported by Spain from England until when Spain started producing quality gin on its own. In Spanish, the major flavors are of juniper, cardamom, cassia, lemon, ginger, anise, licorice, apple and sunflower. It is bottled at 40% alcohol by volume. Now the next one is Danish gin. The Danish gin are soft and light, floral, juniper and spices. Flavors can be felt on both palate and nose and is bottled at 40% alcohol by volume. The brief information about some popular brands of gin. First one is Bombay Sapphire. It is one of the most popular and finest gin in the world. The name was derived from the popularity of gin in India during the British Empire, and the sapphire word was taken from Star of Bombay, a very famous diamond which these days is kept on display at the Smithsonian Institution in United States of America. The brand was launched in the year 1987 by International Distillers and Vintners in United Kingdom and was sold to Bacardi in the year 1997 by Diageo. The distinct flavor of Bombay Sapphire is derived from a blend of 10 botanicals. These are licorice, juniper, cassia, cubeb, angelica, almond, orris root, lemon peel, coriander, and grains of paradise. The neutral spirit is purchased from different distillers and then it is distilled thrice in Carter head still, and the vapor is made to pass through the basket carrying all botanicals to acquire the flavor and aroma. After distillation, the strength of gin is brought down by adding the fresh water of Lake Winby to bottle at 40% alcohol by volume. Now the next one is Beefeater Gin, which is also a very famous brand of United Kingdom. Beefeater is the name associated to the yeoman warders, the ceremonial guards of the London Tower. 100% grain spirit is used in making of Beefeater's gin. The distillery was started in the year 1863. One of the oldest brand of gin is still producing the finest quality and currently located at Kennington, London. The unique flavor is rooted in the unique style of production in which the peel of Seville, orange and lemon along with other botanicals is soaked into the spirit for about 24 hours before distillation, which gives the liquid the ample time to absorb all the flavors and aroma from the natural flavorings. The spirit is then carried to Scotland, where it is bottled at 40% alcohol by volume. Now, the next one is Dumbrack Gin. It is one of the most famous gin from Holland. Its superior quality achieved from the concoction of the flavors and aroma of about 17 botanicals with a twist of orange. It is distilled 5 times to achieve that heavenly product. First, the gin from England. Beefeater Gin, Bombay Sapphire, Booth's, London Dry, Tanqueray, Plymouth Gin are some examples of England gin. Now we'll talk about some popular brands from Holland. These are Dumbrack, Zuidam and Van Gogh, and few from the United States of America. These are Cascade Mountain, Aviation. Now dear scholars, let's sum up what all we have learned so far. We discussed about the production process of gin, how it is distilled from the cereals and flavored with juniper berries. They are of two types, Dutch gin and London Dry gin. The service procedures of the gin and the list of some popular brands from different countries. That's all for today. Thank you.